Hello everyone, welcome back to the IndieGeekGuy channel, and today we're jumping into Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. Alright, The Birds. Obviously a movie I've heard about pretty much all my life. I mean, who hasn't heard about the movie with the angry birds in it? Like, I'm familiar with the sort of visual of the birds and the phone booth, like that is in my head somewhere. I know this movie's been referenced countless times across film and cinema and TV shows and everything in between. Today I was just feeling like, you know what, after Halloween, I'm still in that kind of, not quite horror vibe, but I wanted something that had a bit of a weirdness to it, but at the same time, maybe something a little bit more classy, shall we say. After the Friday the 13th marathon, I wanted to jump into, you know, just something that was a bit of a palate cleanser, but you know, still in the realms of horror, I suppose. I mean, if Angry Birds, like, charging, diving, bombing down at people isn't scary, I don't know what is, let's be real. But I'm fascinated to learn what the actual story to the movie is, because I have no idea about that. Like, all I know is that, like, the birds get annoyed and start attacking people, that's it. I don't know why, I don't know the cause, I don't know if there's something more to it than that. Completely blank, so I'm excited to discover that along with you guys. But before we jump in, please do remember to like this video if you do enjoy the reaction. Maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And also there is a Discord server now open so you can talk to other members of the community and, you know, just build this whole thing up together. So that is all available and the link's down in the description. But for right now, let's jump into The Birds. And so the game begins. Can we spot Hitchcock? Where is he gonna be? That's a lot of birds. There's a lot of birds. Was Alfred riding one of them? Woohoo! There he is! There he is! Found him! Found him! I was almost too distracted by my joke about him riding a bird, but there he was.
Yes, what is it you're looking for, sir?
Lovebirds. I wouldn't want a pair of birds that were too demonstrative. At the same time, I wouldn't want them to be too aloof either.
No, of course not.
Do you happen to have a pair of birds that are...
Oh my god. Jesus. Innuendo just went through the bloody roof.
Back in your gilded cage, Melanie Daniels? I was merely drawing a parallel, Miss Daniels.
How did you know my name?
A little birdie told me.
Okay, well this guy just became 10 times more creepy. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Judge should have put you behind bars.
What are you, a policeman?
I merely believe in the law, Miss Daniels. I'm not too keen on practical jokers.
Well, you knew I didn't work here. You deliberately...
Right, I recognized you when I came in. I just thought you might like to know what it's like to be on the other end of a gag. What do you think of that?
Well, that was the most stupid gag I've ever seen. I'm gonna make you think that I think that you work in this shop. Aren't I a funny guy?
Hello, Charlie. Melanie. I want you to do a favor for me.
Track this number plate I just wrote down. I'm not a stalker, I promise.
Do you have any lovebirds?
Well, I could probably have them here by tomorrow morning. Would that be all right?
That would be just fine.
Okay, well, after all that, I am none the wiser to where this film is going. Woman and man prank each other and they like birds. Oh, and there's a court case and smashing of windows and, you know, all that kind of shenanigans as well. Road trip! Road trip! Road trip! Oh my god, we are going on a road trip. She's actually going all the way out there to meet this guy that she doesn't know to deliver some birds. She must really have the hots for him, apparently. Or, I'm sorry, she is interested by him. That's the classy way of putting it, right? Not stalkerish at all, though.
I'm looking for a man named Mitchell Brenner. Where does he live?
See them two big trees across there?
You mean on the other side of the bay?
That's where the Brenners live.
You see, I want to surprise them.
You could get yourself a boat and cut right across the bay to their dock.
She's going to a remarkable amount of effort to surprise this guy that she doesn't know. Surprise, it's me from the bird shop, and apparently I smashed the window that you got annoyed about.
The little girl's name?
Little Brenner girl?
Well, I need her exact name, you see.
Near the top of the hill, you'll see the school. That's where Annie Hayworth, the school teacher, lives. You ask her about the little Brenner girl.
Still, though, this is an incredible amount of effort. Like, what's she hoping to get from all this?
That you could tell me the name of the little Brenner girl.
Kathy?
The one who lives in the White House across the bay?
Yes, that's the one, Kathy Brenner. Are you a friend of Mitch's?
No, not really.
I met him once.
Oh, pretty. What are they?
Lovebirds.
I see. Luck, Miss Dan.
I'm getting very strange vibes. I don't know why, but my vibe meter is going... I think it's because everything is being treated as so normal. Right? That's why it's giving me weird vibes. Like, it's all being treated as so normal. Yet, I don't know, maybe this is just a time difference, or, like, I don't know anyone who'd go to this amount of effort to deliver some birds to a guy you don't know, who actively tried to be like, you smashed a window. And it really annoyed me, and court case went the way it shouldn't have gone, and now I'm like, birds. Maybe I'm just a pessimist. Thanks to Friday the 13th, I'm just pre-programmed now to expect little ghoul boys to jump out of the water and kill people. Okay, we made it. It's fine. I shouldn't have been so worried. We got to the other side of this lake. Alright, now you're breaking an entry. Just so you know, lady, you're breaking an entry. This isn't your house. Well, okay. Mission successful, I suppose. Until he runs in there and goes, who the hell's been in my house? And he's gonna get like a shotgun. Okay, got some binoculars. Again, the pessimism just came right to the forefront there. I still think this is strange behavior. I just can't get off of that horse. It feels weird to me. That bird was angry. Hey, you don't go breaking into people's houses. Don't you do that. Ah, yes, the restaurant. Well-known proprietors of bird scratchers.
So you're a lawyer.
That's right. Of course, I usually defend
What the
people,
hell?
Miss Daniels, but if I were prosecuting.
Do you practice here?
That was an interesting camera move.
Who's your friend?
Annie Hayworth, the school teacher.
Annie Hayworth.
Well, blatant lies right there. What is her aim here? I'm still so... Is she just after that dick? Is that all she's here for? Is that what this is all about?
As a matter of fact, Miss Daniels is staying up here for the weekend, so I've already invited her for dinner tonight. Did go to the trouble of bringing those birds.
Oh, I couldn't possibly. You did say birds.
Yes, lovebirds.
Oh, I see.
So subtle. Has she gone to this girl now like, hey, can we be best friends? I just need to trick everyone into it that we know each other.
Yes, I did.
Don't they ever stop migrating?
Yeah, I am starting to, like, where do the angry birds come into all of this? Like, so far we've just got woman who's apparently after the D, who's gone to maximum effort. Like, can't take that away from her. She even broke into his house. Bit creepily, but a bit of an enigma where angry birds are going to come into all this.
We've been out back looking at the chickens. Something seems to be wrong with them.
There's nothing wrong with those chickens, Mitch. I'm going to call Fred Brinkmeyer right now.
That's some foreboding.
He had a call from Don Fawcett a while ago. His chickens won't eat either. You don't think they're getting sick, do you, Mitch?
Bird flu? Extreme bird flu. Is this going to be the apocalypse because of bird zombies or something?
He has a client now who shot his wife in the head 6 times. 6 times? I mean, even twice would be overdoing it.
He was watching a ball game on television.
What?
His wife changed the channel.
Wow. Okay. Some commentary about domestic abuse right there. And he just shrugged it off with a smile like, she turned the channel. Shoot her in the head.
She's always mentioned in the columns, Mitch.
Yes, I know.
She is the one who jumped into a fountain in Rome last summer, isn't she? I know it was supposed to be very warm there, but, well, actually the newspaper said she was naked.
Yes, I know.
Whoa, steady on.
None of my business.
Scandal. Is that why everyone's been, like, looking at her weird? That's the girl who was naked.
I was pushed into that fountain.
Without any clothes on.
With all my clothes on. The newspaper that ran that story happens to be a rival of my father's paper.
You're just a...
Aha. That makes sense.
It seemed stupid and foolish.
like jumping into a fountain in Rome.
I told you what happened.
You don't expect me to believe that,
Oh,
do you?
I don't give a damn what you believe.
What do you want?
I thought you knew. I want to go through life jumping into fountains naked. Good night.
Well, that took a turn. That whole conversation took multiple turns. What are the birds doing? There's so many of them.
Friend invited me up for a weekend a long time ago. It was Mitch Brenner. I guess you knew that anyway. It's been over and done with a long time ago.
And there's nothing
Are you sure you've let him go? Are you sure? You seem a little on edge about the whole subject.
Then what are you doing here in Bodega Bay?
I wanted to be near Mitch. I still wanted to be near him.
Doesn't sound like it's over and done with. What is... just every woman he comes into contact with just becomes obsessed, including his own mother? Like, what is going on here? I mean, he looks good in a suit, I suppose, but come on now.
Here we go. One. There you go.
Alright, you might want to tone down the jealous look a little bit. Just a few notches. You as well. Both of you, stop it. Oh my god. Oh, that seagull was going to lift her up and take her away. Jesus. I'm not going to lie, they kind of sound like really angry cats.
Just listen to those lovebirds.
They stop. Huh?
Mitch.
Rogue bird. Rogue bird. Oh, God. Jesus Christ, there's so many of them. It looks really good. Like, I have to give it that. It looks... Clearly, it's just like the actors reacting to probably not very much, if anything. But it's actually pretty effective. Yeah, that house is going to be covered in bird shit.
Well, all right, but we've got to do something about it.
I don't think I get you, Mitch.
What do you want him to do? Tell the birds to stop it. Stop invading the house. I'll arrest all of you.
Good night, Lydia.
Yeah, the mum is not okay. There's something going on with her. This doesn't look good. Oh yeah. Oh God, Jesus! I wasn't expecting that. Jesus. People think Psycho was like grim. Yeah, that's gonna send her over the edge. Like, she already wasn't looking great. And it appears that she already had some issues with recent events, but Jesus. This is where you have the audience go, "Woo!" They've known each other 3 days, ladies and gentlemen, 3 days. Funny how meeting in a bird shop can have these effects, apparently.
I feel as if I don't understand you at all, and I want so much to understand. Because my son seems to be very fond of you. And I don't quite know how I feel about it.
She's honest about it.
I don't even know if I like you or not.
I mean, to be fair to you, they have only known each other like 2 days, so you're right to be a little bit like, who are you? Right, well, the school's definitely going to get attacked in a minute. That's what's going on here. They're gathering. They're gathering. An attack is imminent. Oh my God. They maybe get him shift on. Move. Like, that's a pretty foreboding image.
Well, do not make a sound until I tell you to run. Then run as quickly as you can. Now, does everybody understand?
Just don't panic. No one panic.
John, you lead the way.
Or this is going to go to shit real quick. Okay? Did she say run? Did she say run? I didn't hear her say run, kids. I can get why this might be like, oh god, that kid got a scratch. Like shocking when this came out. Like, we're just gonna show you a bunch of kids getting attacked.
They bring beauty into the world. It is mankind.
Sam, 3 southern fried chicken. Baked potato on all of them.
Oh, okay. That was like a... Is that meant to be a subtle... subtle... the birds are just angry at humans. They just got angry at us because we keep cooking the chickens.
The girls were after your fish, Mr. Sholes. Really, let's be logical about this.
What were the crows after at the school?
Man flesh. They were after man flesh.
I think they were after the children.
Oh, damn! Jesus. Oh, God. That's not good. That's not good. Let's hope the birds don't know how to light matches.
Look at the gas. That man's lighting a cigar.
Watch out!
Mr.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Jesus. I mean, people were shouting at him. Come on now. Well, that could have gone better. It certainly could not have gone any worse. Like, Jesus. Oh, here they come. Here they come. I love that there is kind of no clear-cut explanation. There's just a bunch of... Maybe it's this. Oh my God, Jesus. Just everything that could be going wrong is going wrong right now.
Who are you? What are you? Where did you come from?
Alright, this is... You're taking this to a whole other place now.
I think you're evil! Evil!
Yeah, damn right, Slapper. Like, what the hell is she talking about? Oh, God. Oh, no. That's kind of horrifying. Why are all the birds being so, like, docile around here, though? They're just kind of chilling. I mean, this is really, like, a zombie movie, just with killer birds. But the birds are kind of creepier. They're just kind of like, yep, I'm a bird. I might attack you. Might not. Who knows? I mean, it seems like impossible. What do you do? Like, you just shoot wildly into the sky, hope for the best?
In Bodega Bay early this morning, a large flock of crows attacked a group of children who were leaving the school during a fire drill. We understand there was another attack on the town, but this information is rather sketchy. On the national scene today, in Washington...
Was that all?
So it's not happening anywhere else. It's just happening here, then. Presumably. At least not yet, anyway.
You don't know! You don't know! When will you know? When we're all dead! Damn it! If only your father was here!
Well, that was some unpacking, wasn't it? Jesus. That was some emotional unpacking. Ow! 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 Look like it hurt. Quite a lot of blood in this. Was not expecting there to be quite so much blood in it. That door's coming down. That door is not staying upright. Like the original Here's Johnny. Here's Birdie. Just fucking big bird. Just pops his head through the hole. What the hell was that noise? What the hell is going... It's like a alien out there? What's going on? Or was that just meant to be a bird that just like chewed through the electric wires or something? If there's going to be a jump scare involving a bird, I'll be highly impressed. Jesus Christ. The man knows how to build tension and is probably just a seagull, and I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Oof. That big hole. Oh God, leave, leave. Don't trap yourself in it, leave. Oh God, they're going for the neck. They're going for the jugular. Right, just open the door. Just pull it towards you. I know it's hard right now, but like, Grab it, pull. Grab it, pull. That's what you need to do.
Melanie? Melanie?
It's not looking good. That's not good. She's in front of the door. She's in front of the door. Man, they are really struggling with this door. Just pull her through. Just pull her. Fucking anxiety levels up to 100. Come on now. It's just a door. Oh God. Jesus. You know what? Just say it as it is, Mitch. The birds are your new overlords, and you work for them now. If you had some sort of bird phobia, this would be the absolute worst movie to watch. It would freak you out. Beyond measure. Beyond measure, I say. Wonder if this movie caused anybody to have, like, just like a fear of birds forever after. I don't trust them. They're planning something.
Can I bring the lovebirds, Mitch? They haven't harmed anyone.
All right, bring him.
It's all about love. That's what it's all about in the end. Protect those lovebirds. But what if all the other birds are following the lovebirds? And what if they're the rulers? They're just gonna get away? I mean, that's a pretty creepy image just to leave on. The world is coming to an end. The end. Or maybe they just like this place. This is ours now, alright? Humans, you get everything else. But this is ours. We get this. That's it. Okay. That's where we're ending it. Okay, well, that's Ambiguity the movie right there. Hello from a little bit in the future, because recording schedules are great like that, and I now have to review this movie a day after watching it. Apologies if you'd rather my initial, just right off the bat thoughts of movies after I watch them and that kind of style of the review, but this time around, you know, the movie's relatively long, so I only had a little slot to record in, so I'm having to record this later with a different slot, and I've already started editing the reaction together to remind myself of certain elements of the film and what I wanted to talk about. But nevertheless, let's talk about the movie, and there's a lot to talk about. Before we get into plot and all that stuff, let's just kick off with the direction, Hitchcock's direction. Obviously, you know, he knows how to put a shot together, he knows how to use the camera, you know, all that stuff goes without saying. So, you know, just know that obviously I think his camera work is exceptional and he knows how to compose a shot with great style and finesse, so that's all without saying. What I really appreciated here was that his tension building felt especially good. Like, obviously there was a bit of that with Rear Window as well, especially towards the end, and it's obviously in Psycho and Vertigo as well. There's a lot of it there, but specifically talking about this film, just what leapt out to me were the moments where he knew, and you know, given when the film was made, this is a technique that people now use constantly, that the idea of just leaving it quiet enough for you, the audience, to settle into the expectation of something is about to happen. And he does that really well here, because he doesn't overuse it, and he uses it exactly in the moments that require to do that. And then when the moment of like anticipation is right where it needs to be, that's when he drops you in it. It's like it's masterfully like timed and delivered, if you like. And then the other thing is obviously the effects on how to get birds to work. Obviously there's some practical stuff which they also had like bird handlers and stuff for, but then there are obviously parts of the movie where birds are all over the screen, they're everywhere. So I'm not 100% on how they might have achieved that. I assume what they kind of did was like maybe like layer 2 bits of film or something like that on top of one another, one with like birds all over, and then with the actual footage that they're using. And then I assume they also maybe use some physical props as well on the moments where that's happening, so it maybe gives a bit more depth to what's happening. Because the thing that really impressed me about that is obviously that there's some sort of technique of layering one bit of film on top of another to achieve that effect, or something along those lines. I'm not 100% sure, but it had depth to it, which is what was really impressive, because normally if you just did that, it would just look like, you know, a 2D image put over the top of another image. But I assume this is where like they had some actual props and stuff involved and whatever. But I really liked how there was a depth to those moments. Like, it felt like the birds were surrounding them, especially when they were like in small locations. When they were outside and stuff, that's where the sort of age of the effect sort of showed itself a little bit more. But I thought all the stuff when they were in a location, like in the house or in a building or whatever, and the birds are just going nuts all around them, I thought that looked really good and clear and gave a good sense of like claustrophobia and panic and anxiety, all those things really, really well. And I think he was really smart in terms of, because obviously there were, I assume, some puppets, some real birds, all that kind of stuff going on to achieve certain shots, but I think he did a good job to get in really tight in some moments, like to get the shots really tight and really quick cut, so you can never really pick up on what was a puppet, what was real, what wasn't, you know, just, it's just enough to keep you on your toes, like, oh, that looks painful, all that, oh, you know, it keeps you in it, rather than like there being an obvious fake bird or something in the shot. It's just, you know, it's massively impressive given that, you know, when this was made and that they were smart enough to sort of cut and direct around that, rather than, you know, because you see a lot of films from, you know, this time period and even beyond this time period where people seem to not to understand that if you've got a prop that doesn't look particularly good, you then have to use lighting and camera work to try and make that thing look as real as possible, which I assume is what they did here. I mean, there obviously were shots with actual birds, but I assume there were probably some pretend ones as well, and they did a really good job at hiding all of that, especially given the technology that they're working with in order to achieve it. So all of that was really good. Then getting on to like the plot of the movie, I said in the reaction, if it's there, it kind of reminded me of one of those slow burn zombie movies, in that something weird is slowly happening in the background to characters just existing, basically just living their lives, and there's this weird undercurrent of something building, something that no one can understand, just happening in the background, and it's gradually getting worse and worse and worse, and until it reaches a point where attacks started happening. And it just really reminded me of those kinds of movies, not entirely, but like that kind of tonal and pacing, that kind of stuff. That's what it really reminded me of, which I think worked to great effect. But it's interesting. I mean, I feel like this is just kind of the Hitchcock style, especially with the movies that I've seen anyway. They might be different for some of them, but it's interesting that I think all of the movies that I've seen of his, they have like a romantic storyline going on, like, you know, boy meets girl kind of thing going on. Like, it's in there with Rear Window with the guy trying to understand his relationship with his partner. It's even in there with Psycho to a degree, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like there is an element of that in Vertigo as well. But here it's clearly just it's a situation where the story is built up upon a chance meeting of two people who kind of don't get on, but they're kind of intrigued by one another, and that's what the story is kind of following. And then you get the attack of the angry birds, and it's actually really effective because obviously the birds, it's hard to put character into the birds. So how do you give them characters? You make everything around them feel full of character, not just the characters themselves, but the surrounding and the setting and all that, which I think was done really well. And I'm sure there are people who have theorized about what causes the birds to do what they do. Like, I'm sure that's been theorized countless times over the years, and I probably don't have very much to add to that conversation, but I'm going to try anyway. To me, what it seemed to be, because this film was so steeped in character and character development, and in particular, it seemed to be people who maybe don't treat each other correctly, or have a preconceived notion of someone and judge them because of it. Like, there seemed to be a lot of how humans treat one another in the movie. Like, that was kind of like a subtext running through it. And there was also, like, they did throw in a few bits of maybe the birds are just angry because humans don't treat birds or the natural world, as it were, with any kind of respect. That seemed to be in there as well. But there did seem to be this whole undertone of characters feeling sort of grief or jealousy or, you know, all these kind of sort of pent up emotions, and then not treating one another as they probably should. Like, there seemed to be this strange sort of undercurrent of that going on. And the sort of the attack of the birds seemed to be the very physical embodiment of all of that. Like, all of humankind's sort of negative impact, I suppose is the right word. Like, not just... I think it's more than one thing is what I'm getting at. Like, the birds aren't necessarily explainable or that they're meant to be. They're more kind of this weird metaphor for humans being not very good to one another or the world around them. And the birds are like the world fighting back, you know, in this weird kind of surreal way. And in terms of like what I mean by characters maybe not treating each other the way they should, is you've got the whole scene with I can't remember all the characters' names, but the two leads having an argument about this news story that ran about her being in a fountain naked, and she says, well, that was from a rival newspaper company who were trying to make me look bad, so in turn it made my father look bad, who owns that rival newspaper. And she was like explaining it, and he just refused to believe her story, even though it makes perfect sense that would be what would happen, but he just has a really hard time believing it and is sort of calling her out unfairly on it. And then later on there's another example where like the most overt one is when the woman in the diner who's like scared out of her wits decides to put all of her fear and anxiety and blame onto the lead character. Like she just straight out says, this is your fault this is happening because of your behavior, your rambunctious behavior. Ever since you came here, everything went bad. And you know, that seemed to be a very on the nose version of that. And in terms of like characters like jumping to hysteria and not being able to talk to one another properly, I suppose. I suppose in the end what I'm getting to is that I liked that this movie, really what it was about was just humans in a way. Like the story isn't like, it's obviously following the love story of like two leads and their relationship as it grows and develops, but it's kind of more about everything around that as well. Like the mother's sort of grief about her husband who died, and she can't foresee a future where she can just let go of her children or anything like that, because it was just not out of jealousy per se, but it's kind of this weird jealousy born from grief more than anything. It's a kind of a hard thing to explain, but I got what the film was going for. It's more of a desperation to not be abandoned and left, and again plays into that theme of humans trying to treat each other correctly or not correctly, or just unfortunate circumstances that befell people and how they respond to that and all that kind of stuff. So I think as the movie went on, I mean, I started this off going, I hope there's an explanation for why the birds are doing it, but as the film went on, it sort of won me over to the side of maybe this doesn't need explaining. Maybe it's like, because I sort of got so invested in what the characters were doing, I started to just naturally draw the parallels of this natural disaster being built up from all this kind of tension that was building up between some of the characters, and I just thought, oh, maybe it doesn't need explaining. Maybe it's just a situation that has arisen and no one knows. Just no one knows why this is happening. There's all sorts of potential explanations that are thrown up into the air, but I think it might work better the fact that we don't legitimately know what the answer to that question is. Like, is there something supernatural going on? Is there something that is just the natural world taking their fight back against the humans? Or have the birds evolved a brain cell somewhere that has made them violent towards humans? Who knows? I actually do think the film works better in the end not having explained that. And, you know, I will admit, I was kind of like, I really hope there's an explanation at the start, but then somehow the movie won me over to just going with it, basically. But no, overall, I did really enjoy the movie. I thought it was really good at what it was doing, and you know, there was lots of scenes of just dialogue that it was so strange, because there's a lot of scenes of just a lot of dialogue that don't doesn't really contribute directly to what's going on, but it kind of does at the same time. And I just don't know, I just couldn't help but be invested in it. It's this weird, like, double layer thing that's going on quite a lot of, these are just two people talking about something relatively mundane and normal, but it feels like there was always like an undercurrent of something else going on, which is what kept me invested throughout. I don't think this really fits into any particular genre, which, you know, Hitchcock is very good at doing. He's very good at blending those things together, so it stops feeling like, well, this is definitely a horror movie, or this is definitely a romance, or whatever the case may be. He's very good at just portraying a story that combines different elements together, and it all makes sense. It all fits together. You don't question, like, well, this doesn't fit with this. This doesn't blend together. He's very good at making multiple different styles and genres come together and just work, just making it work, and it feels all the more natural and down to earth and real for it. I mean, despite the fact that a big portion of the movie is just birds going nuts and attacking people and doing all sorts of crazy stuff like that, it feels grounded within the world that he has created in the movie. So obviously I would fully recommend The Birds to people. If you've never seen it before, go out and watch it for yourselves. It is a good time, and just an example of someone who is obviously, I mean, I don't need to say this, people know this already, of a very, very, very talented and incredible filmmaker doing what he does best. So if you haven't seen it, go out there and find it and watch it. That's all I've got to say, really. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button. It helps it get seen by more people, and it lets me know that you liked it. Also, consider subscribing so you don't miss any future content on the channel. There's also a bunch of other videos already here, so if you want to check those out, I would greatly appreciate it. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.